Someone call the ambulance. There's gonna be an accident. I'm coming up on infrared. There is no running that can hide you, 'cause I can see. This is another bunch of shots that we did which represent to us what we call the death of Nancy Boy, which is kind of, I think, kind of how we felt about this record, that we felt this record was quite a departure for us. And this is actually taken in Studio 2 of Rack, where we did most of the album. And it basically involved getting my friend Steve, who's a drag queen, to come to the studio, and then we bludgeoned him to death with a guitar. Quite morbid, of course, but it's kind of a form of catharsis for us, I suppose. To sort of kill what you're most famous for. I was alone, falling free, trying my best not to forget what happened to us, what happened to me, what happened as I let it slip. I was confused by the powers that be, forgetting names and faces. Passers-by were looking at me as if they could erase it. Baby, did you forget to take your meds? Did you forget to take your meds? When you make a record, it's gonna be a while before people hear it, before there's a response from it. And you, in your mind, artistically, you may be already, you know, a year ahead, or, you know, or in a different place artistically as soon as this record's come out, because you've made something, you know, and then it's done, there you go, you know, move on. But with live, it's kind of the physical rush of collective euphoria and an emotional exchange between a small group of people and a much larger group of people. So you can imagine when it's going really, really well, what we get back. And sometimes you feel the adrenaline rush, you know, just rising up from your belly through to your chest, you know, and you really think you're going to pass out.
Sometimes I see songs in colors. I think it's called kinesthesia. I can hear a song and I can go, well, that sounds purple to me, or that sounds brown to me. That's, in that sense, yes, I can see something visual. But not like, you know, imagining, you know, the asteroid coming to smash up planet Earth, and that's the power of this chord, kind of thing. That's probably Mike Oldfield, that one. That's probably Phil Collins.
For real, it's not the actual album?
No, it's not the actual album, no.
It's just...
That one's got like 3 songs on it, yeah? And that one's got... Well, that one could be, because that's got 4, no, 5. They stopped doing the actual vinyl, they only do CDs these days. The thing is, you can go to this manufacturer, you can have them make one for you, although they're not even in the band who sold 100,000 records.
Initially, it does start and stop with your records. That's what you are, essentially. That's why people come and see you live, because they want to hear those songs, but those songs have affected them from the record. The live thing's just another side of what happens when you do that kind of job, I suppose. It's just amazing that you can draw audiences all around the world. I think we've had nothing but sold-out gigs for the last 8 years all around the world, no matter what size. You know, also, you know, this band, they can do 20,000 in France, they can do 15,000 in England. You know, we'll do, first time we went to South America recently, you know, first time in Chile, we're doing 10,000 a night for 2 nights. It's our first gig there. It's not 250 people, it's 10,000 people, you know, for 2 nights. And the fucking place is going mental. We've never been there before. We can't hear ourselves because the audience is singing the words back. And none of them speak English. What the fuck's that about?
I think what I've been trying to do more and more so since Without You I'm Nothing, our second album, is to try and express the core emotions of what it is to be alive. The sense of feeling lost, you know, the sense of trying to find an identity, the sense of confusion, falling completely in love, you know,
falling out of love, being hurt, being disappointed with yourself. But what I've been trying to do is to try and refine that, with each record, and try and say it in more and more simple ways, in more and more direct ways. And I don't know if this makes any sense. I think to a certain degree, perhaps the songwriting has gotten a little bit more sophisticated, but what's coming across is more simple. I've been trying to use less words to communicate grander themes.
Stroke.
I reacted against a great deal of things, in order to sort of end up where I am today, and I guess, it all starts with childhood, I mean, we could spend days and days and days, I think, sort of getting to the real nitty-gritty of it all, as far as the way that you react against your upbringing and your parents in order to become the person that you are today. Two things which I reacted against as a teenager was the evangelical church and Jesus Christ. And then I wanted to prove as well to my father, I guess, that that there was a future in this. I just knew that at some point I would be on the stage. And for a long, long time I was as an actor in my mind. But when I was like 16, I started to play guitar, and that started to become much, much more important in my life. But I don't know if it's just silly, if it was just blind faith, childhood dreams, and or just necessary delusion, that kind of brought me to that point where you just tell yourself continuously that you know it's going to happen. And so in those terms, what you said about is doing, as you said about as you get older, is like burning bridges behind you so that there is no way back, so that you have no other choice than to kind of make it work.
I was in the Boo Radleys and K class, so I was doing like shoegazing, Dinosaur Junior rock, and then going off, and then in Liverpool, then driving over to Manchester and taking ecstasy and being with K class and doing dance music in the Hacienda. What a whore.
I spent 2.5 years on the dole after Goldsmiths College, determined not to get a job until I got a record deal.
We met in Burger King in Lewisham, and he was into music, and we went back to his flat, and I just had my first Breed album pressed up, second album I'd ever done, and we sat and listened to the record.
I remember the first time I saw him play live, which was in Deptford in 1993, I think, and I went down to see him, and it was just a really bad, messy sound, because it was like a shitty little pub. But what cut through was his vocals, and I thought, this is really cool, I can actually hear what he's singing. And it's coming through the whole, it was kind of like a Nirvana, acoustic, distorted, mess, basically, at that point.
Acoustic guitar, and I'd be playing bongos. Our first band we called it Ashtray Heart, from the Beefheart song. You use me like an ashtray heart.
And then after the show, I went up to him and said, listen, do you want a bass player? Let's play together.
It was I suppose, quite a dark period, and that's kind of where the whole first record kind of came from.
Trying not to get beat up after leaving the pub, kind of thing, and bringing a bag of socket chips back to his flat, and trying to write some songs.
I think we're lucky, I think we came in the back of 1995, 96, and we just sort of crept in at the back end of Britpop and did something different.
We're in a lucky position where we could just basically hold up our demands and say, this is what we want, who can give us this? So we ended up landing a really, really good deal.
Bands can't do what we did now, because it's just changed so much in 10 years. So fucking much.
It's right here. We've arrived.
We want to go out there, we want to be the best fucking live band. Not just in Britain, but, in the fucking world. And I think we're getting there. I mean, U2, when they first started out, all they did was fucking tour America. And they toured. By the time they finished touring one end, they had to go back. Just like the fucking San Francisco Bridge. You finish painting it, you get to one end, you got to paint it again. That's all they did around the States. Because it's easy to tour, but if you don't go back there for a fucking year or so, people forget. There's too much stuff, but it takes graft.
There's a great deal of improvement to be made, you know. Can be tighter, can be better performers, you know, better musicians, better at connecting with each other when on stage.
Basically, the motto for this album has been, we must try it.
Well, the majority of it was done sort of within a period of 8 weeks. Then so it's, I guess, about 3 months recording spread over 5 months. I'm so not interested in making records that take like a year to make or 18 months to make. You know, you just kind of, you don't remember where you began.
This feels like us right now. It's like, you know, we've said before, it feels like snapshots of us at that time in life.
I think compared to the last one, it's just more straightforward, it's more real.
In the studio, we kind of go crazy. It's a song that rules, you know, and we'll try out every keyboard and every guitar on every song to see if something might work.
Sometimes, you know, the three of us get together and we all play keyboards together, you know, that kind of thing. So it's not, you know, you do that, and I do this, and that's that. It's still pretty open.
Now it's just kind of, hey, you know, I'll pick up a guitar or a little keyboard line or something else, you know, and just throw it in. I mean, just doing tracks in the back room just as we're finishing sort of recording and just looking for other songs and, you know, put 6 or 7 ideas down, CD, pump to the band and go, what do you think of that? And it's really embarrassing, but the band, boys like that, brilliant, brilliant, rest of it's shit, but those two great. And there's something, we start doing something, you know, and I think it just shows, you know, an openness with each other, sort of confidence within each other and an interest within each other.
Well, about 4 years ago, we started working with Dimitri Tikovoy as a producer, and we did sort of B-sides and we did cover versions together. We did like Boney M covers and Kate Bush covers and things like that together. And often we'd find that when we'd go in and do these B-side sessions, and apologies in advance to the guys who produced the actual albums, they would end up sounding better than the records that we just made.
He didn't want us to be complacent. In a band, the 5th album could easily be going through a routine and kind of falling into a pattern of writing and just seeing things in one way. And I think Dimitri kind of slapped us a little bit out of that, which some days was really frustrating, and some days we hated him.
I think Dimitri's done, you know, a really good job this time, and it's. I'm really pleased the way he's pushed the band. I think it's. I think it shows. It just shows on the recordings now. Just like no, sort of play it, work it out even more. Sort of think about it even more. Get your parts together, like right there and then, and play them. You know, come on, use your brain.
We come in with a song and we like the way it sounds. Dimitri will come and say, but no, let's see it from this angle or that instrument. We kind of let ourselves be open in that way. We let ourselves to be that vulnerable, you know, to have our songs fucked with. We went into the studio thinking it was going to be much more electronic and much more sequence-based, but it actually comes out sounding a bit more like our first 2 albums in the sense of, you know, this. It's just basically drums, bass, guitars, and piano.
The thing about the band is that there's no fixed roles when it comes to the studio. And when it comes to the studio, the only people who record and put stuff down is the band as well. You know, we don't have producers playing anything on there, we don't have Bill playing anything on there. It's a 3-way thing, but it's still the nucleus of the band.
I never really thought that so many people would want to listen to me trying to understand the world, which I guess is kind of what I'm kind of doing in the lyrics. Me trying to understand myself and trying to understand my place in the world. And I guess I still feel quite uncomfortable about my place in the world. Otherwise, I'd probably be writing gospel music or, you know, doing some, you know, writing things that were sort of more euphoric by nature or, you know, less questioning by nature.
With this album, we kind of reached a point where the music is doing the talking, and it doesn't feel like we have to go out there and shout from the rooftops and sort of just try to show off or try to impress people anymore. We kind of did that for a long time, and in the way that we dressed, and the way that we behaved, and the way that we were speaking in the press. It was really a case of, come on man, just listen to us. We're not just this, but we're not just Pure Morning, and we're not just these transvestites, it's this fag little band. We are a proper musician, writing really good songs.
I want to write about sort of why does love end, why does love disappear, why can I be surrounded by people and still feel completely alienated, why do I feel like this, and why do I need certain things in order to get me through the day, why does my lifestyle affect my relationships, why, these things, why am I so confused, and why doesn't, as you get older, why doesn't it get easier, and just, stuff like that.
Something we've pursued over the albums is to try and have emotional content, rather than just a track. And
we write what we feel, and then we play that, and that's basically it. It's a conveying of emotion, and a conveying of feelings.
It's a good song if you can strip it down to a complete skeletal form and play it on one instrument, an acoustic guitar or a piano and a voice, and it still comes across, then it's a good song. If you can write a song and you have to wait 6 years for it to actually be recorded and mixed, and it still completely levels you, it still has a huge emotional impact on you, then you've written a great song.
once it's finished as a track, it's kind of done. You don't actually spend that much time with it personally. You just go through the whole process of making it come together. But you never really have time to sort of stand next to the thing you've made and go, and all this kind of thing. Essentially, it's just sort of taken away from you, and it feels now, it's like, it doesn't feel like ours anymore. It's kind of, it's out there now. It's going to be for the public. It's the thing, and it becomes something separate again.
Because that's the whole thing. Because if you can feel them yourself, and if they have a place in your heart, then that's why you put them out. Because if you feel them, then someone else can feel them.
I don't know if you call it alchemy or whatever, just all the elements really coming together at the same time, and at the right time, in order to make this what I believe to be our strongest record so far. And our most immediate record, our most direct, and the record that sort of hides behind things the least.
I just want us to be important, really. And I think the combination of people in the band can achieve a kind of sort of language that a lot of people can understand around the world. And I want to fucking take the Americans on. Because they have better fucking producers and drum sounds and guitar sounds and harder records. And there's so much of the music business in England they don't understand, and they just think they've got it. But it's such an English thing. It needs to be shattered. I feel that big time. Just keep to the right, mate.
And I am one.